Hi YouTube. Today I kind of want to talk to you guys. I'm trying to get this right. Okay, so I can be okay. Okay, I kind of want to touch on you guys a little bit about a few of my accomplishments. Well, my greatest accomplishment, one of the hardest things that I've had to accomplish and endure with having sickle cell, um, was my babies. Being pregnant with sickle cell. Actually, that's why I'm kind of such a big little big advocate, I guess. I'm so into talking about sickle cell is the fact that I don't want children out here having kids without knowing. It kind of bothers me that, you have the 15, 16-year-old girls, the young ones in general, and even the adults who are having kids and they don't know anything about the disease and how prominent it is in black people, or even to know about the disease in general. Um, I knew about myself, and my parents were wonderful enough to give me that knowledge and not treat me, like it was something to keep quiet. They always kept me in the loop because this was about me, and I knew what I needed to do as an adult if I wanted to accomplish certain things. And I have a wonderful husband, and when I first got with him, it was basically this isn't going to happen unless we know about you, pretty much. We got his blood drawn and everything, and he came out to be good. So, and he really didn't know much about sickle cell either until I truly came into his life. I mean, he'd heard of it, but not to really know what it is. And so we checked that out. I tried for 5 years before I got pregnant with my first daughter. I mean, I cried. I went through so many horrible nights and thinking I was pregnant and not being pregnant, and having the doctors tell me that I need not even try to get pregnant because it was just something that wasn't in my future, and it wasn't going to be, it was just going to be heartache on a regular basis for me. And I started to believe that, and I had tried for so long, for so many years, that it had gotten to the point where I was depressed, and then I just finally gave up. Like, maybe it's not meant for me to have any children. Maybe it's not, maybe that's not part of my life plan. And actually, as I gave up, and as I stopped trying, as they say, I got pregnant with my first daughter. It had to be one of the hardest times in my life. And there's my sweetheart right there. You can't kind of see him, but he's there. See, there he goes. Hi. um, it was really hard, and dealing with that was very stressful on the body, and I stayed sick a whole lot. And when I mean I stayed sick, I stayed in the hospital the majority of my pregnancy. I had preeclampsia. Um, on a regular day, on a good day, soaking wet, I'm only like 107, 108 pounds, not even 110. And I got all the way up to 155 pounds. I couldn't walk. I couldn't. I mean, it was horrible. I was just sick constantly in the hospital, catching infections, and just the crises in general just kept me in so much pain that I would say the last 3 months of my pregnancy, I was in the hospital on bed rest. And my first daughter, she's 5 now. She actually came. She was 2 months. Yeah, she was 2 months early, and she stayed in the NICU for a month. She was healthy. She kind of had a hard time talking at first, but other than that, my darling was healthy. I stayed on morphine through the whole pregnancy. She wasn't addicted to it, but I did have to take morphine through the whole pregnancy, and she turned out okay. She came early. She was a preemie. I had the preeclampsia. I ended up having to have had a C-section, but I had placenta abruption, and my placenta ripped off from my uterus. And all of that had to do with complications of my sickle cell. Had my baby girl, I was the happiest person. You would not be amazed at how happy I was, and I was content. That's all I prayed for. That's all I wanted, was a little girl to carry my name, because having sickle cell, you don't know if you're gonna You don't know if you're gonna die. This is my other little mama right here. So you guys, please excuse me for 1 second. She's at grandma's house. I'm recording. Come here. Come say hi. Say hi.
Hi.
Say hi, YouTube.
Hi, YouTube.
That's my other. Well, this is my first accomplishment. This is the little one that I was just talking to you guys about. She's 5 now, and her name is Destiny. Get out your nose. Her name is Destiny, and please excuse her for digging in her nose. She don't know she's on camera, or she hasn't gotten used to the camera thing yet. So you didn't pretend like you didn't see that part. Okay, go. She's at grandma's house. But then I have my, she looks just like me. It was destined for her to look like me. Leave my door open again. And I'm so sorry you guys have to see this side of me, but this is me. Nothing is edited, nothing is all secretive. I'm not off in the cut nowhere. I'm sitting on my porch doing me, talking to you. So then I have my second daughter now. After I had my first daughter, I was told that, I was on birth control. I didn't think I was going to have any more kids, so I was good. I took birth control for 3 years straight. Now let me tell you this story. This is a really funny story. My grandmother called me in December and told me that that the Lord showed her me pregnant in a maternity shirt, a white maternity shirt. And when she told me this, again, I had been on birth control for 3 years religiously. There was no question that I wasn't trying to take my pills because I didn't want to have any more kids. But I won't say I didn't want to have any more kids. I just didn't want to endure what I went through with my first. So I was on my birth control regularly, religiously, with no question, no mishaps, none of that. Every day, same time, every day. And when she told me that, my birthday was coming up. And she told it to me, and I kind of blew her off. I hadn't talked to my grandma in years, and I haven't seen her even longer. And so when she told me that, I was kind of, yeah, okay, whatever, grandma. And then she, for my birthday's in February. And for my birthday, I decided I wanted to get my belly button pierced. And so when I decided to do that, everybody was like, well, you don't want to get your belly pierced because if you find out that you're pregnant, you're going to be upset. I'm not pregnant. I'm taking my birth control. I'm good. I'm not having no more kids. They was like, you better check. So just to humor everybody, February 19th, my birthday's February 20th. February 19th, I took a pregnancy test and found out that I was pregnant. You would not believe how surprised that I was to find out that I was going to have another baby. One that came through the birth control, the 3 years of birth control, might I add. That was a big surprise. And even the fact that my grandma had called me and told me that, I just was amazed. And I did. I was pregnant. That was my birthday gift. And it's been crazy. The pregnancy with her was just as bad, if not maybe a little worse. I was even larger with her, couldn't breathe, was in the hospital. I was actually in the hospital on bed rest with her the majority of my pregnancy because she had stopped growing at one point because I was staying so sick that I couldn't give anything to her. The sickle cell was taking so much from me that I didn't have anything left to give to her. And because I didn't have anything to give to her, she wasn't growing. And on top of the fact that I was on morphine, like a morphine drip. When you're in the hospital, you get an IV, you get fluids, and you get pain meds. Depending on what your drug of choice is what they're going to give you. Mine, for years now, has been morphine. That's what makes me feel better. That's what kind of maintains my pain. And being in the hospital for months at a time, in months of a crisis that I was in for like pretty much the entire pregnancy, I was on morphine that entire time. She was addicted to the morphine. Not bad. When she was early too. I had a scheduled C-section with her October 1st, 2008. And she came home on morphine and we weaned her off of it and she got on phenobarbital, and she's doing good. She'll be 2 1st of next month, and she's an angel. Her name is Victoria, and that pregnancy was, I mean, it really was. It was just as bad and it was scary, but because I was in the hospital and they were watching me, she didn't come as early. She lasted a month. She only came a month early, and she only had to stay in the NICU for a few weeks. She didn't stay as long as my Destiny did, but she was there for a while too. Um, she came home. She's been good. She's been good ever since. She's a little angel. Sometimes, majority of times, she is a little terrorist. But she doesn't have sickle cell. Neither one of them have sickle cell, and that's my big thing, is just to make people aware, because if you're aware, I mean, that's how sickle cell can stop. You know, it can be stopped by knowing what your background is, knowing who you're having sex with, knowing, you know, who you should and shouldn't be having babies with, you know. All of that comes along with stopping sickle cell, stopping that cycle. And I was a step to stopping that cycle. And big ups to Andis. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. She's another living testimony, another one of my YouTube friends. And hi, darling. I'm so proud of you, and I'm very happy for you. Our girls are born 6 days apart a year, and I'm happy for you. And all sickle cell patients, I mean, those sickle cell carriers, rather, I mean, have that hope. You know, don't let the doctors tell you that something isn't possible, you know, that you're not supposed to be like this. The doctors told my parents that I was supposed to die before I hit like 4 or 5 months, I believe it was. I'm 31 years old now with two children, a husband, no, excuse me, 2 biological children. I have 3 daughters, my wonderful stepdaughter, who was my daughter before I had my 2. A wonderful husband who loves me dearly and takes care of me and is there. And although he doesn't know what this feels like, he tries his hardest to understand and to be there for me when I need him. So, I mean, my life is good. I just want, you know, those out there to know that sickle cell can be stopped, and if you have the knowledge, you know, you can stop it. You know, you know what to look for. You know what to look for, and who rather. Those with sickle cell have hope. You know, keep your faith in God. That's all I can say, because really, if I didn't have my faith in God to know that I'm going to be okay, I probably wouldn't, I know I wouldn't have made it this far. It's just one of those things that you have to deal with. And I'm glad that I'm me, and I'm glad that I've survived this long to be able to, you know, look at my little girls. Most sickle cell carriers back in the day didn't live to see 30. Again, I'm 31. I'm blessed. I'm so blessed, and I'm happy. And I said it once, and I'll say it again. Sickle cell is a part of me, but it's not me. Sickle cell does not have me. It will not control me. It will not take over me. It will not rule my life. I rule my life. I control my life. And although it plays a big role in my life, I control how I feel. If I want to sit and suffer and endure the pain, or if I want to get up and move around and try to help it on its way so it can get better sooner. And it doesn't always work like that, but I will continue to have the faith and the drive to get better and to get up, and the hopes and prayers that someday, whether it's in my time or not, that there'll be a cure for it, you know. And my girls won't have it, but my girls don't have it, and they won't have children that have it, because my girls will have enough knowledge of their background, of their genes, to know that they don't need to be dealing with people who have the trait. You need to know who it is that you're going to be with. I've talked too long. I've gone over my 10-minute limit again, but when I get to talking about it, it's so dear to my heart that I really don't know how to stop talking about it. I just want everybody to know that it's a part of me, and it's out here. And the majority of the African Americans, it said 70,000 of us have it in the U.S. And I don't know how many years ago that was, but as of right now, I've seen something else that said it's 80,000 Americans out there with sickle cell disease. and that's a lot.